Have you ever been out walking or jogging and been passed by somebody twice your age, or gone to the gym and been working out and you see somebody that's appears more out of shape than you, or maybe they're twice your size and they're working out at a level that's so awesome they're leaving you in their dust? Well, chances are these people have something in common, and I'll get to that in just a second. My name's Amanda Arentz. I'm a registered diagnostic medical sonographer, and I'm also a certified Hatha yoga instructor, which is what I really want to talk to you about. Yoga is a life-changing practice that anyone can do to enhance their lives. So in my short presentation today, I'm going to prove that by showing you how yoga can help you look and feel younger, and how yoga can help you lose weight and feel more fit. So to get started, I'm going to quote Bob Harper. He's one of America's great trainers. Most of us know him from The Biggest Loser. And Bob says, quote, "Yoga is the foundation of youth. You're only as young as your spine is flexible." So there's so much truth in that statement of Bob's. We see it every day. You go to the grocery store, you see a 30-year-old man walking like he's 90, he's all hunched over. Or you see the inverse, you see an 85-year-old lady and she goes speeding past you like she's not a day over 40. And that's because she's got that spinal flexibility that guy is lacking. And I can show you this. There's a study by Dr. Natalie Nevins. Well, not a study, a research article by Dr. Natalie Nevins. She is a board-certified osteopathic family physician and certified Kundalini yoga instructor who explains how yoga can do all these great things because it ages with you. So Dr. Nevins writes for the American Osteopathic Association also, and in her article, she says, quote, "Whether you're a couch potato or a professional athlete, size and fitness levels do not matter. There is a modification for every yoga pose and a basic class for every style. The idea is to explore your limits and not to strive for some pretzel-like perfection," end quote. So Dr. Nevins not only writes for the American Osteopathic Association, but she also treats patients. And she started implementing yoga practices into her patients' treatment plans. And what she found is pretty remarkable. Her patients started to report drops in blood pressure. So if their blood pressure was high, it was becoming either normal, just back into basic ranges. Patients were reporting less insomnia episodes. So obviously, if we're sleeping better, we're going to have more energy. So right there, we're going to feel younger. We're going to bounce around a little bit more, be able to keep doing the things we love, right? Patients also reported less arthritis pain, less chronic pain. They reported no longer needing their cortisone injections, so those steroid injections to help with that pain. Some people reported canceling their carpal tunnel surgeries. They said their carpal tunnel syndrome was going away. And that's because the yoga is opening up that spine, as Bob talked about, right? And it's allowing those blood and this oxygen to get to those nerves, those tendons and things, so that things can function and move the way that they should. So yoga allows you to feel younger by giving you those mobilities back. Some people were saying how I had to give up my golf. I couldn't swing anymore. I didn't have that flexibility. Well, yoga gave them that flexibility back, so they're able to keep doing the things they love so that they can continue to feel younger. So another way to think about this, if that doesn't work for you, is like if you played high school baseball or softball and you did all these practices and these weight trainings, and then you had these weekend tournaments and you were never sore, you were unstoppable when you were young, right? Well, now you fast forward and you're 28, 30, whatever, you get asked to join a softball tournament for a fundraiser, and by Sunday afternoon, after a few days of softball, you're walking like you're 90 because you haven't been practicing. So this is known as the Wolff's Law or Wolff's Theory. The German anatomist Julius Wolff came up with this many, many years ago. And that was, the theory was of loading stress onto bones and ligaments. And essentially, if you're not using it, you're losing it, right? So just like we said, the high school kid that plays sports and works out, now he stops playing for 10 years, tries to play again, he's lost all of those mobilities. They're gone. He's got to work out to get them back. Well, yoga is a form of exercise that anybody can do, any age, any body style, it can be modified and then it grows with you. So that's why yoga is so cool. You can't play baseball forever. You just can't. You can't run and sprint like that forever. But yoga is something you can do forever. These stretches, they can get harder and they can get easier depending on where you're at in your life. And that's what makes it really cool. So it's easy to see how yoga can help you feel younger, but how does it help you look younger? Well, I have an article from Dr. Marilyn Wee to support that one. And she is a board certified Harvard and Yale trained psychiatrist. She works out of New York City, and her article is titled Yoga Can Slow Effects of Stress and Aging. And her research article really just covers only two scientific studies, and they looked at yoga's effect on aging. And it's kind of a long one, so I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but I will quote the parts that were really awesome. So Dr. Wee said that in these studies, it was revealed that doing yoga regularly can, and I quote, slow physical aging and the harmful impact of stress at the cellular and DNA levels. End quote. Wait a second. Yoga can slow the physical aging and the harmful impact of stress at the cellular and DNA levels. I just saw, I think it was a night cream or an anti-aging cream or something on the TV the other day that slowed aging at the cellular level. But if by doing yoga, not only do I get to feel younger and get those mobilities so I can still play with my kids and keep up with the things I love, but I also get to look younger and I don't have to buy the cream, I'm in. That's a 2-for-1, guys. So Dr. Marilyn Wee also goes on to further say in these studies, and I quote her again, that they contribute to the growing evidence that yoga can slow down and even reverse the harmful effects of accelerated aging and stress on the body and mind, end quote. Okay, so now you're starting to have a little skepticism because how is it going to reverse aging? You can't reverse aging. There's no time machine, right? Well, it kind of can reverse it a little bit. As a yoga instructor, I can say that I've seen remarkable feats in class. People start in my beginning class, me even. I can do arm balances. I could not have done those when I was younger, like, 19, 20, whatever. Back then I should have had the strength. I couldn't do those. So essentially, yoga's allowed me to turn back time so I have a body that is physical of capabilities, things that I couldn't do when I was younger. So I have a younger body than I did back then. So that's pretty cool. And it's not just me. I'm actually going to quote one of my students, Kendra. She's a 45-year-old mom, started my beginner classes. She's a regular. Now she's in my intermediate and advanced classes. And she said the other day, she said I could use this. Quote, nothing makes me feel younger than being able to get into and hold a pose that a 20-year-old can't. End quote. So this is so true. When you can do something that somebody younger than you cannot do, you feel younger. So we live in a vacation community. My typical clientele is ages 30 to 60. And we get drop-ins when, we get all these influx of vacationers, and it never fails. We get a rainy day, and we get these 20-some-year-old gals that come in because there's nothing else to do, so they want to work out. And they see, I think, I could be wrong, but they see all these, 40, 60-year-old ladies going to these intermediate advanced classes, and I'm guessing it's their egos that say, well, if they can do it, I can do it. I'm in better shape than them, and we're like half their age, so let's go to the advanced class. And I always end up having to use more basic moves for them, modify poses for them just so they can make it through class. And it's so cool at the end of class how they walk around and converse with the older ladies, my regulars, and they're like, how do you do these arm balances? Oh my goodness, you're amazing. And, it's just like Kendra said, nothing makes you feel younger than being able to do something that somebody younger than you cannot. So it's easy to see how yoga can help you look and feel younger. So now that we know that, let's look at how yoga can help us lose weight and feel more fit. So for this, I've picked kind of a lengthy research article. It's been compiled by 4 different scientists, A. Ross, A. Brooks, K. Touchton Leonard, and G. Wallen. It's published in Evidence-Based Complementary and Alternative Medicine Journal. I picked this research article in particular because it covers over 55 studies that specifically look at yoga's effects on weight loss, which all of them resulted in weight loss being an effect of yoga. This research article itself is titled A Different Weight Loss Experience. It's a long name, but I'll explain it in a second. A qualitative study exploring the behavioral, physical, and psychosocial changes associated with yoga that promote weight loss. So that's a mouthful. And that's because yoga is more than just a workout. So obviously, if you're doing a workout, you're going to have some weight loss effects. Or if you do dietary changes, you're going to have some weight loss effects, right? But yoga is more than that. It's a workout, it's breathing techniques, and it's becoming more mindful, which really compiles and puts us all together. And this is where this study gets pretty cool. And I quote here, in clinical trials, yoga has improved a number of obesity-related outcomes, including BMI, body weight, body fat, and waist circumference. Individuals who practice yoga report that yoga helps to improve diet and body weight, and studies involving long-term yoga practitioners have found an inverse relationship between frequency of yoga practice and levels of obesity. Oof, what does that mouthful mean? It means when participants' yoga practice went up, weight went down. So yoga is scientifically proven to help you lose weight. And it does so in a really cool way, which this study really pulled out, in my opinion. So you can lose weight doing any diet. And for the most part, diets don't work unless it's a diet that becomes a lifestyle change. So look at the cabbage soup diet. If you eat cabbage soup, you lose weight, you lose 20 pounds, but then you stop eating cabbage soup and start eating real food and you gain 20 plus pounds back. This is where yoga is different. In this study, and they followed participants for 1 to 4 years. So the only thing these participants had to do was yoga at least 3 times a week for 60 minutes. They could do more, but that was the requirement. Nothing else. They were given no dietary changes, nothing. Just they had to do yoga. That's the study. You go to a yoga practice at this place, at these different places. So they go to yoga. That's all they have to do. They do nothing else. Live life as is. So one of the studies that they covered in this research article is a VITAL study, which is a longitudinal vitamin and lifestyle study. And in it, I quote, in this study, 15,500 adults who practiced yoga for at least 4 years were 2 to 4 times less likely to gain weight as they aged than those who did not, end quote. So that's pretty cool. Yoga started to become a part of these people's lives, and as we age, we physically start to do less, so then we usually start to gain weight. Well, people that were doing yoga weren't getting that weight gain. They were either maintaining or losing, and in case of all these studies, all of these participants lost weight. And also in all of these studies, some really cool themes started to pop up. Again, they were given no dietary restrictions, but participants started to discuss how they no longer mindlessly ate. They quoted a 44-year-old female study participant, and she says, quote, you could eat a bag of potato chips and not be aware of it. People can sort of zone out and they don't know how much they are eating. Yoga definitely helps make you more mindful, end quote. So they also found, as they were doing yoga, that certain foods affected their yoga practice, and they didn't like those effects. So the biggest one in the study was dairy. That was the most complained about one, which I thought was interesting. So people just naturally stopped eating dairy because they said their yoga practice lagged, and they really like how yoga made them feel, so they just stopped eating it. So they started making healthier choices. They quoted a 62-year-old male from the study, and he said, quote, I was thinking the main focus for me is that it's made me more body aware and made me more mind aware, so I've been able to make better choices, end quote. So aside from starting to see food as fuel and really hone in on how they feel about how the food makes them feel, and also, just making better choices, they also said that because they were hanging out with the yoga instructors and people in the classes that were all working towards the same goals, they felt more motivated to make healthier choices. And when they were out, they started to think, well, what would Joe do? What would Susie do? And they just naturally started to make better choices. Again, they were not given any dietary restrictions, but they just naturally started to choose that because the people they were hanging around were doing that, and they were starting to embrace the lifestyle naturally, and they just really enjoyed feeling better. Jim Rohn, he's a mostly known in the network marketing field, I would say, but a well-known motivational speaker, goes to lots of businesses, sometimes hospitals. But he says, and I quote, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." End quote. How true is that? If you spend your time with overachievers, you're going to be an overachiever. If you spend your time with people who eat fast food, you're going to eat a lot of fast food and probably feel like crud. So why not spend some of that time in a yoga class so that you can lose weight and feel more fit? I mean, it's scientifically proven. So we've looked at the science, and it's proven that yoga can help you look and feel younger, and yoga can help you lose weight and to feel more fit. So it's no secret, yoga is a life-changing practice that anyone can do to help enhance their lives. So why not consider adding a little yoga to your life and seeing what it does for you today? Check out a class online or a class in your neighborhood. And as the yogis like to say, if you want to be the one who's passing the people on the trail or the one who's leaving people in the dust in the gym, then like I said, check out yoga. But in the yogi world, we say, namaste, have a great day.